first of all, I think I have to apologize that I'm the bloody foreigner who makes your buses crowded every morning. And here's my question. I feel that today we've talked quite a bit of the social problems of overpopulation in Singapore, but I do feel that we have to take consideration of the economic aspect of having enough labor, having enough talents to run the local economy. Then, based on the current anti-foreigner sentiments in Singapore, how can Singapore ensure that the real top quality foreign talents are attracted to Singapore? How can Singapore ensure that the top quality foreigners, the so-called the real foreign talents, are willing to come over to Singapore to work and settle down, given the fact that they can easily move to US or Canada? And I read the Straits Times, and it says that the US is actually amending its own immigration bill to attract Asian engineers and Asian, this kind of technicians, Asian technicians. So my question is that how can Singapore, attract these top quality foreigners?
Okay, thank you very much. Just a few clarifications. That's a very good question. I think in any debate, in any discussion, what we must be wary of is making sweeping generalizations, even though it might be tempting, because we do, in the way we react to the world, we do need to make certain assumptions, we do need to generalize, but do it sparingly, do it only after the evidence is staring you in the face. I'm not so sure that Singaporeans are anti-foreigner. I have serious doubts about that statement. I think it all depends on which group you're asking, depends on which day you're asking, and really, to me, most of the time, most of us, we have friends who are foreigners. We have friends, close friends, who did not grow up at the same place, did not go to the same schools, and we can relate to them. But that doesn't mean that we do not have our share of anxieties about this place, the meaning of this place, and how we will change the complexion of this place. But that doesn't make us anti-foreigner, I think. So that clarification is important. Very few Singaporeans, I think, at the core are xenophobic. But there are people out there who do want to whip up sentiments. We leave them to their own devices, and hopefully we do not get swayed by that. Now to the substance of your question as to how Singapore can continue attracting real foreign talent, when foreign talent, as you say, is highly mobile. They can go to the US, they can go to other places. That's a reality that most countries face. If you're saying that if we become anti-foreigner, foreigners will be turned off, that is also true, but I don't think we are anywhere near that. I think we are still generally an open, welcoming society. We may get irritated now and then, but generally I think when someone is truly talented, when someone is truly deserving, I think the Singaporeans' good sense of what is fair play will prevail. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much for that question. I have received a question from someone. Okay, with regards to the citizens' sentiment, where do you think the line between xenophobia and healthy concern is drawn?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, and I think to some extent Ms. Ryder had touched on it in her previous reply. And I think she's right in saying that Singaporeans in general are not anti-foreigner, and for you, I'm sure, your friends in this school, they're your friends, and we're not against, Singaporeans are not against foreigner. It's because of the circumstances that have led to the anti-foreigner sentiment is more a concern about overcrowding of jobs, that the influx was too quick and they were not integrated. And many people make this point to me, which is that actually Singapore is a nation of immigrants. All of us, our parents, our grandparents, they came from somewhere else and they came to Singapore to make a living, to seek a better life. So we must not fall into the trap of being self-righteous about our place. I think that's clear. But at the same time, you can't deny that there's a sense of Singapore history that we share over the past 5 decades, which new immigrants are not privy to, and they are new to. So there is always this balance. So this tension between xenophobia and healthy concern is a good one. I think we should always be informed in whatever statements that we make. Online, you will see, many of you, I'm sure you have Facebook accounts. Some of you might like the pages of some local websites that are, whipping up some of this sentiment, and you must be very careful when you read these things to make your own decisions on whether what they say is true, what they say against foreigners are responsible. And very much it all comes to individual responsibility. You must make a decision for yourself about your own feelings and whether it's fair. And also you must think on the other side, if you go to the US or the UK, and many of you I'm sure want to go to universities abroad, whether you would feel welcome in a foreign country, whether it's the mark of a good country that people treat each other with respect. So this is something that this debate is going on, and something for all of you to think about.
Thank you for your responses, Chubb. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Okay, well, if not, I shall read one delivered from the runners. Okay, what is your personal take on the white paper? This can be addressed to either of you.
I thought I did deliver my personal take. I actually think that the white paper made a lot of sense, except that I don't think many people will be convinced by what I just said. I think the white paper made a lot of sense. If you care about this place, if you care about the future of this country and what will happen to lives here, you do need to plan in advance. You do need to provide for infrastructure. You do need to ensure that there are enough good jobs, that you have a comfortable green environment, there are enough homes. So I don't think the intention of the white paper was bad. I think it shows foresight on the part of the government in wanting to plan for the future, wanting to plan for actually your time when you are in the prime of your lives, because by 2030, I'm already about to end my career. So it's really about you guys, and I think it's good that the government wanted to do this, and it's right that they continue with the white paper, but I think in the execution, in the way they went about communicating the message, in the way they got buy-in for this document, I think they could have done better.
Okay, I have another question from the runners. Do you think the media has to bear some of the blame for the very startled reactions of Singaporeans?
Wow. I must say that I'm really surprised that there are so many anonymous questions here. I thought JC kids these days are very brave. But anyway, the media.
Yeah. Are these real questions?
Yeah. Okay, the media, whether they are partly to blame, I'm not so sure where you're getting that from, because frankly, and this is actually some of the feedback that we gave the government after the whole white paper fallout, which is that they only showed us, the media, the white paper 1 day before they released it. So we were all falling over ourselves to digest the report, and I was there at the press conference, the MPTD, the National Population Talent Division, who came up with the white paper, the permanent secretary and all its policy people were sitting there, and when we saw the paper, we knew instantly that it was not going to be well accepted, and we said, you do know that this is not going to be well accepted by the public, and they said, well, yes, but they're trying to focus on the bigger points, but they didn't give us much time to react, and what we did was we tried our best to convey the main points of the paper, and to some extent that's why you saw some of the stories that I wrote, giving the planners a chance to deliver, trying to communicate the message. But we are basically the messengers. We're trying to tell you what the government is trying to convey with their policies, but we also reflect the anger, the dissent, and we are mainly facilitators of a national dialogue.